I'm Said Valiba Barno. This lesson is for the first course of economics faculty. Today we have talked about the going global, franchising. Okay, and today outlines will be information about franchising, read for detail, and listening activities, and then home task. What is a franchise? Can you define it? What types of business tend to be franchises? How much control do you think the owner of the franchise has? Think about salary, uniform, equipment, and decoration. What is franchising? Franchising is based on a marketing concept which can be adopted by an organization as a strategy for business expansion. We implemented a franchise and license its know-how, procedures, intellectual property, use of its business model, brand, and the rights to sell its branded products and visited to the franchisee. In return, the franchisee pays certain fees and agrees to comply with certain obligations typically set out in a franchise agreement. And they were written that this was originated from Anglo-French derivation, meaning is free and is used both as a noun and as a transitive verb. For the franchisor, use of franchise system is an alternative business growth strategy. Okay, and franchise is not an equal partnership, especially due to the legal advantages the franchisor has over the franchisees. But under specific circumstances like transparency, favorable legal conditions, financial means, and proper market research, franchising can be a vehicle of success for both franchisor and the franchisee. They were given for you article from internet going global with a submarine, and read please attentively about franchises. If you would like to be a global player with outlets in hundreds of countries, perhaps you should think about setting up a franchise business. This is a good advice. And after that, read the article about the Subway franchise and answer the question, who is Fred De Luca? Approximately how much could you have to invest to open a Subway franchise? And where was the first Subway franchise open? How many countries have Subway sandwiches shop? Then read an article about franchising and mark the statement true or false. There are more McDonald's restaurants in the USA than Subway sandwich shops. Hilton Hotel Corporation franchise is very expensive in comparison to Subway franchise. A person who runs a franchise can decide what their employees wear. Fred De Luca's first franchise shop was very far from his first shop. Subway's first overseas franchise was opened more than 20 years after the first shop was opened. The franchisor is responsible for all tax and legal matters within the country the franchise is opening in. Franchising has had a positive effect on the Fred De Luca's company. Then they were given for you exercises, some vocabulary exercises. In each set of 4, match a word from the article with the correct meaning. Okay, and then put this stage of researching a franchise into the correct order. Well, and into 34, you will listen this tape, listen to Maria Coelho talking to business journalist Dave Towler about her experience of running a franchise and answer the question, what kind of business does Maria run and where is her business? Is she a business success?
Track 34. So, Maria, what made you decide to open a tea shop in Lisbon?
Well, Dave, I studied chemistry at Cambridge University for 3 years. But when I came back to Portugal 5 years ago, I decided I didn't really want to be an employee at some chemical company. I wanted to be my own boss and run my own business.
Okay, but why did you choose to run a tea shop, Maria? A tea shop's popular with the Portuguese?
You'd be surprised, Dave. My bank manager was a bit skeptical, but I love spending time in tea shops and thought it would be a great idea to open one here in Lisbon.
And has it been a success, Maria?
Well, yes and no, Dave. It was very hard work at the beginning, and finding the right franchise was a lot more difficult than I'd thought it would be.
But you found one in the end?
Yes, but I had to fly back to the UK 5 or 6 times the following year for talks and discussions with various franchisors before I finally found the right one.
What other difficulties did you have?
Well, raising the franchise fee was okay. It was only £12,000, which is quite cheap for a franchise. But I also had to attend a 2-week training program in London, which cost me another £2,500, which I hadn't budgeted for.
You had to pay a course fee?
No, but the flight, the hotel, and food. And as you know, Dave, London isn't cheap.
What about opening and equipping the shop? You opened 3 years ago, didn't you?
Yes, that was the next problem, Dave. The franchisor's European agent wasn't happy with the site I'd chosen. He didn't think it was central enough or in a prestigious enough location.
So the franchisor selects the location of the outlet?
No, not really. But the site you select has to meet certain standards before it is approved. It took me almost 3 months to find a more central site, which I could afford to rent. But by then I had spent most of my savings, and the biggest expense, equipping and fitting the shop, was still to come.
And how did you manage to raise the money for that, Maria?
My bank agreed to lend me €50,000 after they'd seen my business plan, and I managed to borrow another $50,000 from the 3 Fs.
The 3 Fs?
Yes, the 3 Fs, Dave. Family, friends, and fools.
I see. And was that enough?
Just, Dave, but only just. The franchisor wanted to ship all the equipment and fittings from the UK, but I persuaded them that it would be cheaper to have everything made here. It saved a lot of time and money, and I was able to open the shop within 6 weeks of signing the lease.
So, who are your customers?
The shop has been a real hit amongst the business community here, and, of course, we also attract a lot of tourists during the summer months. Our turnover is up 50% over the same period last year.
Great! Well done, Maria. And, is there anything you regret about opening a franchise?
No, not really. I don't enjoy filling in the paperwork and having to ring the headquarters with a breakdown of sales every month. But who enjoys paperwork?
Yes, I know what you mean. Well, thanks very much for taking the time to talk to me.
You're welcome, Dave. And good luck with the article.
Thanks.
Then, if you need, listen to Maria again and complete the summary of your franchise. A home task: answer the question and write a short essay. This senior franchise is really owned by his own boss. Make a list of type of decisions a franchise can or cannot take themselves. If you had a choice of buying a cup of coffee or hamburger from a no-name company or well-known franchise, which would you choose and why? If you wanted to start your own business, would you think about buying a franchise? And why? Why not? Do you think there are types of business that would not work as franchisees? What are they? And why do you think they wouldn't work? And then you see in each set of four below, match the verbs on the left with the noun on the right. So, words that are often used with the verbs do, make, take. Put them into the correct column in the table. Thank you for your attention. So see you later, and send me please all your answers in my email.